Which principle best describes the role of Parliament in the UK Constitution? A. Parliament shares power equally with the monarch. B. Parliament has supreme legal authority. C. Parliament operates under judicial control. D. Parliament governs only through referendums. Answer: B. Parliamentary sovereignty means Parliament can make, change, or repeal any law, and no other body can override its legislation. What is the primary responsibility of the House of Lords? A. Initiating money bills. B. Electing the Prime Minister. C. Revising and scrutinizing legislation. D. Representing local councils. Answer: C. The House of Lords reviews, amends, and challenges legislation, acting as a revising chamber rather than creating financial laws. Which document first limited the power of the English monarch by law? A. The Bill of Rights. B. Magna Carta. C. Act of Settlement. D. Habeas Corpus Act. Answer: B. Signed in 1215, Magna Carta established that the monarch was subject to the law, laying foundations for constitutional government. What is the main role of the Prime Minister? A. Head of State. B. Head of the Judiciary. C. Head of the Government. D. Commander of the Armed Forces. Answer: C. The Prime Minister leads the government, sets policy direction, and appoints ministers, while the monarch remains head of state. Which UK country has its own devolved parliament with lawmaking powers? A. England. B. Scotland. C. Cornwall. D. Northern England. Answer: B. Scotland has a devolved parliament that can pass laws on matters such as education, health, and justice. What is the main function of the civil service? A. To create laws. B. To advise and implement government policy. C. To judge legal cases. D. To represent voters. Answer: B. Civil servants are politically neutral and support elected governments by implementing policies and providing expert advice. Which event directly led to the formation of the United Kingdom in 1707? A. The Norman Conquest. B. The Act of Union between England and Scotland. C. The English Civil War. D. The Industrial Revolution. Answer: B. The Acts of Union 1707 united England and Scotland into a single kingdom with one parliament. Why is the UK described as a constitutional monarchy? A. The monarch rules without limits. B. The Constitution is written in one document. C. The monarch's powers are limited by law. D. The monarch is elected. Answer: C. The monarch's authority is restricted by laws, conventions, and democratic institutions rather than absolute rule. What is the main purpose of local councils? A. Making national laws. B. Managing defense. C. Providing local services. D. Appointing judges. Answer: C. Local councils handle services such as waste collection, housing, education, and local planning. Which legal principle protects individuals from unlawful detention? A. Rule of law. B. Habeas corpus. C. Common law. D. Devolution. Answer: B. Habeas corpus requires authorities to justify a person's detention before a court, protecting personal liberty. What is the role of the Speaker of the House of Commons? A. Leading a political party. B. Representing the monarch. C. Ensuring debates follow rules. D. Proposing new laws. Answer: C. The Speaker remains politically neutral and ensures fair debate and orderly conduct in the Commons. Which factor most influenced the growth of cities during the Industrial Revolution? A. Agricultural reform. B. Factory employment. C. Overseas wars. D. Religious change. Answer: B. Factories created jobs, drawing people from rural areas into towns and cities for work. Which responsibility belongs to the Chancellor of the Exchequer? A. Foreign policy. B. National security. C. Managing the economy and budget. D. Running the NHS. Answer: C. The Chancellor controls public finances, taxation, and economic policy. What is a key feature of common law in the UK? A. It is written only by Parliament. B. It is based on judicial decisions. C. It applies only in England. D. It replaces statutory law. Answer: B. Common law develops through court judgments and legal precedents rather than solely through legislation. Why are general elections important in a democracy? A. They appoint judges. B. They allow citizens to choose representatives. C. They remove the monarch. D. They create laws directly. Answer: B. Elections enable citizens to vote for MPs who represent their interests in Parliament. Which group gained voting rights through the Representation of the People Act 1918? A. All women over 18. B. All men regardless of age. C. Women over 30 meeting property conditions. D. Only landowners. Answer: C. The 1918 Act expanded suffrage, granting some women the right to vote for the first time. What is the primary role of the Supreme Court of the UK? A. Creating laws. B. Enforcing government policy. C. Interpreting the law. D. Managing prisons. Answer: C. The Supreme Court interprets legislation and ensures laws are applied consistently. Which value is most closely associated with British democracy? A. Absolute authority. B. Individual liberty. C. Religious control. D. Economic equality. Answer: B. Individual liberty is a core democratic value, protecting personal freedoms under the law. Why is Remembrance Day observed in the UK? A. To celebrate independence. B. To honour those who died in wars. C. To mark the end of monarchy. D. To recognise industrial workers. Answer: B. Remembrance Day commemorates military and civilian deaths in conflicts, especially World War I. Which body is responsible for running elections in the UK? A. The Prime Minister. B. Local councils. C. The Electoral Commission. D. The Supreme Court. Answer: C. The Electoral Commission oversees fair and transparent elections and political finance. What does the term rule of law mean? A. Judges control Parliament. B. Everyone is equal before the law. C. Laws change daily. D. Only citizens must obey laws. Answer: B. The rule of law ensures that no one is above the law, including government officials. Which role does the monarch perform today? A. Governing daily policy. B. Acting as head of the armed forces in combat. C. Performing ceremonial and constitutional duties. D. Writing legislation. Answer: C. The monarch has symbolic and formal responsibilities, while political power rests with elected officials. Why is freedom of the press important in the UK? A. It controls elections. B. It enforces laws. C. It allows scrutiny of those in power. D. It replaces Parliament. Answer: C. A free press holds government accountable and informs the public. Which movement aimed to improve working conditions in the 19th century? A. Suffragettes. B. Trade unions. C. Religious reformers. D. Royalists. Answer: B. Trade unions campaigned for workers' rights, safer conditions, and fair wages. What is the main purpose of jury service? A. To create laws. B. To advise politicians. C. To decide facts in legal cases. D. To enforce sentences. Answer: C. Jurors assess evidence and decide verdicts in criminal and some civil cases. Which devolved body has powers over education in Wales? A. UK Parliament. B. Welsh Government. C. House of Lords. D. Local councils only. Answer: B. The Welsh Government controls education policy within Wales. Why is volunteering encouraged in UK society? A. It replaces paid employment. B. It strengthens communities. C. It is legally required. D. It funds government services. Answer: B. Volunteering supports community cohesion and helps address local needs. Which event marked the end of World War II in Europe? A. Battle of Britain. B. VE Day. C. D-Day. D. Armistice Day. Answer, B. Victory in Europe, VE Day in May 1945 marked the defeat of Nazi Germany. What responsibility comes with UK citizenship? A. Mandatory military service. B. Serving on a jury when required. C. Owning property. D. Voting in every election. Answer, B. Jury service is a civic duty expected of eligible UK citizens. Which factor most defines British identity today? A. A single religion. B. One ethnic background. C. Shared values and respect for the law. D. Monarchical rule. Answer, C. Modern British identity is based on shared democratic values, tolerance, and respect for laws rather than ethnicity or religion.